Hey guys, Thomas here from lowbackpaincenter.com. In this video, I'm going to take you through a sample routine, the release, mobilization, and corrective stretching for lumbopelvic hip complex dysfunction. And again, this is just a sample routine. We're going to start with our release, our myofascial self-release, and our biceps femoris. Okay, so what I'm going to do, find a elevated surface to sit on. It's best if your feet can dangle. And our biceps femoris is on the outside lateral aspect here. The trigger point is usually about halfway to down, so distal there. And so I'm just going to survey the area here, looking for it. There it is. And we're going to I'm going to have a timer here. And we're going to hold this for 60 seconds. Okay. And you'll notice sometimes I'll just move ever so slightly. Oh, there it is. I'll move ever so slightly. Um, that when I do that's because the muscle's released, and I'm now surveying, looking for a second location. But um, if your muscle doesn't release, don't move. Just stay on that spot. And we're going to do both sides. So the point of the myofascial release, when we apply a pressure, so the ball is applying a pressure to the muscles, that pressure activates mechanoreceptors inside the muscle. And these are receptors inside the muscle. And these receptors send signals to our nervous system. Some of the signals go to our central nervous system, and those signals that go to the central nervous system cause the muscle itself to relax. It's a reflex. The other signal goes to the autonomic nervous system, which changes the viscosity of our blood and also just gets a sort of a global relaxation of tissues and muscles throughout our body. And so both are obviously beneficial. So now we're going to switch to the other side. Same thing, looking for the most tender spot. And I do this a lot, so I can usually find it pretty quickly. There it is. And you'll notice, guys, that one side may be more sensitive than the other. For me, I have an asymmetrical weight shift to the left, which means that the trifecta of terror, or the biceps femoris, posterior fibers of adductor magnus and piriformis on my right side are overactive and sort of push me this way. And so everything on this side is a little more sensitive. You may not have that for you. It might be the opposite. Maybe you have a weight shift to the right, and in which case the left side is more sensitive. But whatever the case is, we are doing both sides for this video. Another 15 seconds here. And you want to hold these for anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. I like to go closer to 2 minutes to get a more profound effect. 30 seconds doesn't really seem to do much. All right, so now we're going to head over to the mat over here, and we're going to do our tensor fascia lata. The tensor fascia lata is on the lateral aspect. If you put your thumb here and you shift your body weight side to side, you'll feel the tensor fascia lata contract. It'll actually push out against your fingers. So that's what we're looking for. And how we get that guy is I'm going to lay down here and sort of on the side, and there it is right away. And again, we'll hold this for a minute. So the algorithm for corrective exercise, we always want to do release first, right? After we release the muscles, we then mobilize the joints. We're going to mobilize our thoracic spine, as well as our SI joint for this particular video. And then we'll do corrective stretching, and that will be it for this video. After the corrective stretching, though, what you will be doing is activating, isolated activation, and then integrated activation after that. There's a separate video for that. All right, now we'll switch to the other side. Same thing, lateral aspect. This guy's usually pretty sensitive. You can use a foam roller for this as well. I do this every day, so I need a little more pressure. Pressure, of course, is force over area. So the smaller the area, the more pressure there's going to be. So obviously a foam roller, there's a larger surface area, so there's less pressure. Another 15 seconds here. And after this, guys, we're going to get our rectus femoris, which is usually right about in this area here. Okay, so again, you're going to have to survey around to find the most tender spot. I know where it is instantly, right there for me. And we'll hold this for 60 seconds. This one's quite sensitive. Your rectus femoris is the only quadricep muscle across your hip joint. So it's actually part of your hip flexor complex. And having an overactive hip flexor complex will take neural drive away from your gluteal muscles. And of course, that's not good for anybody, let alone a golfer. So we want to make sure, ooh, that's a tender spot. We want to make sure that we restore some balance here. All right, we'll switch sides. The survey around here. There it is. Oh, there it is. If you don't find it, that means you just haven't looked hard enough. It's there, trust me, guys. Dig around, investigate, survey. You will find it. And again, we're only doing a minute on this, but I would recommend actually, like I said, I do 2 minutes. 2 minutes, if you're first starting out with this stuff, might be a bit much. That's why we're taking easy on you and just doing a minute. Although the scientific literature says you can go as low as 30 seconds, I don't really recommend that. You don't really get much out of it. All right, that's good. Now, we're going to mobilize, release your thoracic spine. So this technique is both a release for your rhomboids as well as a mobilization for your thoracic spine. And so what we'll do is, using a foam roller, I'm going to hug myself here, sort of get the shoulder blades to spread apart, find the most sensitive spot along my thoracic spine or upper back, and that's my rhomboids right there. And then I'm going to drop my hips down, contract my core, hands above my head here like this, and I'm just going to extend. And yeah, I got a bit of a pop there. It's totally normal. The facet joints have a propensity to get stuck, and so you may get some popping. That's productive. Of course, if anything hurts, guys, stop immediately and email me. So let's do 3 times at that level. Actually, we'll do 5. This is feeling pretty good. A little bit of selfishness there on my part. Don't want to move. Okay, now from here we're going to move up, say just an inch, and we'll repeat again. Keep your hips on the ground. And if you find a spot that is particularly sensitive, sort of focus on that spot. So I'm going back to the original spot that I had right there. I'm going to do a few more here, just on that spot. One more. Man, I actually, this feels really good. I don't want to move, but we got to get on with the routine. So, okay, now, so that was thoracic spine. That was rhomboid release as well as thoracic spine mobilization. Now we're going to do SI joint mobilization. Now, what I'm going to do is this is mobilizing the top SI joint. So on me, because of my asymmetrical weight shifts, I have a SI joint. My rest SI joint is really locked up, and so my mobility on this slide is not great. We want your knee about hip level. We don't want that knee coming down. So that's why I have the yoga block, sort of propped up. You can put your fist under here. I'm going to take my hand, hold my knee here. I'm not pushing down. I'm just holding it. Hand behind my head. I'm coming down and then rolling back. You'll see the limited mobility here. SI joint is stuck, so it's not allowing me to move, but it will loosen up here as we move through the set. We're going to do 10 of these. We're going to hold at the end. Already. That's 2. 3. 4. 5 more. 4. 3. 2 more. 1 more. Last one here. That's actually not quite it. Good. Okay, other side. Again, 90-90. Hand here, behind your head. Go back. Side's much easier for me. The left side for me is not locked up. 3. 4. 5. Again, holding at the end range for 4 seconds. 6. 7. 8. 2 more. And last one. All right, good. Okay, one more mobilization here. This is again for the thoracic spine. So we're going to get you down, arm here, and keeping my left rib cage attached to my left thigh, and then rotating up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, 8, 9, and 10. Good job. Okay, other side. Here, attach right side, right rib cage to the right thigh, coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. Good. Okay. Corrective stretching. We're going to start with child's pose. So I'm going to drop down to my bum touches my heels here. We're going to hold this for roughly 30 seconds. I'll just get the timer out here. So this stretches the lats both up by the shoulders as well as through the lumbar spine. Your lats cross your pelvis or attached to your pelvis and insert in the medial aspect of your upper arm, your humerus. And so we want to stretch both sides or both ends. So we're stretching the shoulder side as well as the low back side with this stretch. It's actually one of my favorite stretches. Okay, and then from here we're going to move into kneeling hip flexor stretch. I have a yoga block here. You don't need to use that. I just have sensitive knees. So we only have, I don't want you to lean into it. It's not a very good stretch. There's only 15 degrees of extension here. So what we're going to do, tuck under and then forward 15 degrees, and you'll feel that. And we're just holding this. Grab the timer here. For another 15 seconds. Okay, and then we'll switch sides. Same idea. Up, tuck under, 15 degrees of extension. Feel that in the front. Rolling this for 1 minute. You can hold, again, the stretch is anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So this stretch here, we release the rectus femoris, which is part of the hip flexor complex, and this is stretching that very same hip flexor complex. And so the release we did earlier is helping us get a little bit further stretch here and be a little more productive with our time. Okay, one more stretch, anterior adductors. So we're going to go hands on our hips, just a slight stretch out to the side. This heel, my left heel, is in line with my right toe. So I'm just slightly staggered. Again, posterior pelvic tilt, and then lean to the side. So body weight coming to the side. Flex this or contract this glute. Tuck under. We'll hold this. Another 15 seconds. Now, we didn't do a release technique for the anterior adductors, just for time efficiency purposes, trying to shorten some of these routines down a little bit. Um, but just because we didn't do one in this particular video doesn't mean that you couldn't throw it in yourself if you feel that your groin or your adductors are a little extra tight. Okay, other side. Tuck under, lean to the side. There we go. All right, guys, good job. So that took 20 minutes. And from here, we would move on to our activation techniques. If you have any questions, guys, email me, Thomas at lowbackpaincenter.com.